Right now, with drug overdoses on the rise in children, how one Wisconsin school district wants to be prepared.
Plus, it's a family affair on this National Nurses Week, proving the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
And police in Texas revealing new information on the suspected gunman behind a deadly shooting at a mall this weekend. You're watching News 3 Now at 10. According to data published in JAMA Pediatrics, the number of children and teens who died from fentanyl overdoses increased 30-fold from 2013 through 2021. And in the last 20 years, more than 5,000 children have died from overdoses involving fentanyl.
However, half of those deaths happened during the first 2 years of the pandemic, and that's why schools in Beloit are now taking steps for an emergency response to drug use. Tahlil Mohideen has the story.
Currently it does say allergy, but we'll be replacing that with emergency medication.
It's not the first place you would expect to see treatment for a drug overdose.
If you open it, it will have 2 doses of the Narcan.
But at Robinson Elementary School in Beloit, it's a new fixture.
We just want to make sure that we are prepared in case we were to need it.
The district started putting the life-saving medication, which reverses effects from opioids like heroin or fentanyl, in all of its schools in early May, at the request of community advocates.
They said it was almost a matter of time.
Over the last 2 months, the city of Beloit saw 12 overdoses, 10 of which resulted in death.
It's always seemed like Beloit was the meeting ground for people to deal illegal drugs, and I think that's one of the biggest things that we're working on when we collaborate with other agencies.
Beloit PD Chief Andre Sales says while they haven't seen excessive drug use among kids, he applauds the district's preparedness.
Because very too often we wait until someone else's loved one has lost someone before it affects you and you lose a loved one.
As for concerns the Narcan on hand could normalize drug use,
That was kind of a conversation that we had. However, we feel like just because it's there and just education alone usually helps prevent it.
and while district leaders say they've not seen students overdosing, the reality is some are using.
As a school, we are responsible for our staff, students, and volunteers and guests that come into our building. So we just want to make sure that we're prepared in case of an emergency.
Reporting in Beloit, I'm Tahlil Mohideen, News 3 Now.
The district has taken other measures to help students, such as referring students using opioids to drug abuse prevention teams.
To Janesville now, where police say a high school coach has admitted to putting a recording device in the girls' locker room. 38-year-old Brian Kitzman, the current assistant track coach and previous swim coach, confessed after a GoPro camera was turned into police and school officials on Friday. Kitzman, who also was arrested Friday, allegedly told police he had been recording for at least 2 years with as many as 18 victims. Now parents are worried about if their child's privacy was violated.
Not knowing if it was isolated to a certain few students or if my daughter could have possibly been in any of these videos changing in the locker room. It's just a privacy thing. It's very uncomfortable.
And the district superintendent says the coach was employed since 2004. School officials say they did a background check and that the district did not know about any of his actions prior to discovering the recording device. Kitzman is currently being held at the Rock County Jail with charges of child pornography and other crimes.
Madison police officers say they recovered a gun while investigating a hit and run near Camp Randall last week. Officers responded to a crash between a vehicle and a traffic pole at the intersection of Campus Drive and North Randall Avenue around 11:20 Friday night. A 39-year-old Madison man left the scene, but when officers from another law enforcement agency tried to pull him over, the man ran away, dropping a black bag with an illegal gun inside. Officers eventually caught and arrested him. He faces multiple tentative charges. A 77-year-old motorcyclist is dead after a crash in southwestern Columbia County yesterday. It happened at the intersection of County Highway K and Smoky Hollow Road in the town of Arlington. A 16-year-old driver in an SUV stopped at a stop sign before pulling out in front of the motorcyclist. The SUV driver was not hurt. Speed and alcohol do not appear to be factors in the crash.
After a rainy start to the work week, we go to weather. Our first warn forecast. Here's Julian Seawright. Julian?
Well, the good news is we don't have to worry about rain heading into the rest of our Monday nights, but it's also going to be a much better conditions over the next several days. How much rain did we see here in Madison? Well, a little over 1/2 of an inch from this latest event, which has pushed our now totals since January 1st to about 11, close to 11.5 inches of rainfall for Madison, which normally around this time of year, we're just around 10 inches. So we're about at a surplus of almost 1.5 inches of rainfall. So we're doing pretty good in rain, but now it's time for us to get some sunshine, which we're going to be looking at in the days ahead. But as we take a look at our radars of right right now, we're rather dry, though our friends to the far northwest could see a little bit more rain starting to make its way, but starts to fizzle out as it reaches La Crosse as high pressure looks to take over coming into the overnight hours. Now, we did see areas just south and west of Madison, mainly near the Illinois state line, that had accumulated around an inch, maybe even more, of rainfall throughout southern Wisconsin. For us here in Madison and areas to the far northeast near DeForest and even Sauk Prairie, we had a little bit more rainfall than in Madison, but overall, it's a good thing that we're now looking at drier conditions. Overnight temperatures will fall into the lower 50s by the overnight. We are going to be seeing the upper 40s by the time we get into our Tuesday morning, but we're going to warm up even more so. We'll talk about that. The return to 70s and 80s are in the forecast. We'll be planning that out in a few moments. Until then, back to you.
Julian, thank you. This week is National Nurses Week, a time to recognize the contributions made by nurses across the country, including many here in Madison. At
UW Health, identical twins are working in the field, following in the footsteps of their mother. McKenna Alexander shares their story.
This Nurses Week, a family that's cumulatively spent almost 50 years working at UW Health is reflecting on their time in the profession, as well as what first inspired them to become nurses.
I'm Jenna, and I'm going to be your nurse today.
As Jenna Scheinstein and Paula Pope enter their 20th year as nurses at UW Health, they're looking back on who first inspired them to help people.
Our mom was a very compassionate human being, at least. She's taught us that, brought us up that way. And that ingrained in us, for sure.
Before retiring in 2013, Denise Shermy worked as a nurse in the operating room at University Hospital for 37 years. That dedication stuck with these twins.
When she would get called away during snowstorms, even when school would get closed off, she'd still have to go in, and that kind of embedded in our heads that, she must be doing something important. And indeed she was. She was helping people. And that kind of stuck with us very early on.
From there, Jenna and Paula went on to do just that, help others when they need it most.
We want to help people. We want people that needed help or people in need, and to be there for them, especially when they're most vulnerable. And we want to be advocates for them, too.
But being a nurse hasn't always been easy, especially during a global pandemic, which was a critical time for these two.
Because in the beginning of COVID, medical profession were just praised so much. People spoke so kindly and so positive of us, but then as time went on, people kind of frowned upon any medical professions, but that in itself... Yeah, we were a stigma. They were afraid of us. And I think that kind of gave us the courage to just keep going, just because we knew that that care still needed to be done.
So this Nurses Week, this family of nurses is looking back while looking ahead toward the next generation of nurses and what it takes to become one.
Dedication, loyalty, perseverance, and stamina. Patience, not like real patience, but willing to learn. Yeah, communication's key, because you work like with all levels of multidisciplinary. You work with doctors and then nursing assistants, medical assistants, and other nurses.
National Nurses Week continues through Friday, May 12th.
McKenna, thank you. At the state capitol, Republicans are pushing a proposal that would raise the funds the states give to cities and counties. But those funds, called shared revenue, come with a catch. That includes barring counties from putting advisory referenda on the ballot. These referenda are essentially polls put on the ballot by local county boards, asking their residents what they think about certain issues. Last month, Dane County voters weighed in on redistricting and abortion through these referenda.
I think the idea is that it makes no sense to use the ballot as a way to try to achieve some interest group's political goal. The city of Burlington lawmakers have zero to do with legislating abortion or marijuana. That's a state issue. I don't think it should be done at the local levels.
For his part, Democratic Governor Tony Evers says he will veto that Republican plan in its entirety, saying the state needs to give more aid to those municipalities and take out those restrictions.
A Dane County judge is planning to order the State Elections Commission to reconsider a complaint filed against fake Republican electors. The group attempted to cast the state's electoral ballots for former President Trump during the 2020 election. Judge Frank Remington says the commission must consider the complaint without the participation of one of its 6 commissioners. That would be Republican Robert Spindell, who is also one of the fake electors. The order could be written as early as next week.
Authorities in Texas are revealing more about the gunman who opened fire at an outlet mall in Allen, Texas over the weekend. 8 people, including 3 children, were killed and at least 7 others were wounded before a police officer shot and killed the suspect. Police identified the gunman as Mauricio Garcia. CBS News has learned he enlisted in the Army in 2008 but did not finish basic training. Garcia was terminated after 3 months due to physical or mental conditions. Today, activists gathered at the Texas state capitol urging lawmakers to advance legislation to raise the age for purchasing assault weapons from 18 to 21.
We've had enough of pictures and images of mothers covering their children, trying to use their bodies as shields from these dangerous weapons.
In a surprise move, a Texas House committee passed the bill, but it still faces an uphill climb to become law.
Also in Texas, police in Brownsville have detained a man in connection with a deadly crash Sunday outside a migrant center. 8 people died. 10 others were critically injured. The driver, 34-year-old George Alvarez, is now facing manslaughter charges. Police say he attempted to run from the scene, but bystanders held him down until police arrived. Investigators are awaiting a toxicology report and looking at whether the crash was intentional.
For the investigation, it was found that the SUV ran a red light, lost control, flipped on its side, and struck a total of 18 individuals.
The suspect is being held on a $3.6 million bond. The police chief says he could face more charges as the investigation unfolds. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has placed a detainer on the former University of California Davis student charged in a series of deadly stabbings. The agency is requesting Carlos Dominguez be transferred into their custody should he be released by the Yolo County Sheriff's Office. Dominguez is charged with 2 counts of murder, 1 count of attempted murder for 3 stabbing attacks that terrorized the California college town over the span of a week. He has entered not guilty pleas. When we come back, Julian returns with a complete look at the forecast.
But first, it's a rare cheese, 20 years in the making, and now you have a chance to get a piece of it, where you can go and get some, and how much cheddar you'll have to fork over.
Get 11% off your outdoor project at Menards. UltraDeck low-maintenance decking is built to last. Spend more time with family and friends, or simply soak up some sun with UltraDeck rustic composite decking. It's $195 per lineal foot after rebate. Check out our selection of concrete landscape blocks, from no-cut block projects to retaining walls to edges and patios. We have the block for you. Get 4 smooth patio blocks for just $5 after 11% off.
Save big money at Menards.
Are record high energy and water costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With inflation rising at record levels and incomes not keeping pace, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive. While you may not ask for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to be without heat, water, or power. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.heat.help.
Camp for less at Camping World in DeForest. We have hundreds of RVs to choose from with quality pre-owned RVs starting at $99.99 and new RVs starting at just $134 a month. Plus, every RV purchase comes with a Good Sam Elite membership and access to our nationwide service network. We guarantee you'll get the best deal or give you $1,000. Stock up on everything you need for the RV and campsite with our huge selection of RV accessories. Looking to sell your RV? We pay the most. Click, call, or come in to Camping World in DeForest today.
Tomorrow, Now, Josh shares the unique way a local man is sharing his memories of life on the farm.
And send us your weather photos for a chance to win a First Warn weather umbrella.
And after a cool, rainy Monday, we do have some warmer weather with some sunshine this week. Join us tomorrow between 4:30 and 7.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
The Madison Teachers Union is asking all teachers to only work their contracted hours for Teacher Appreciation Week. The move comes as the union tangles with administrators over next year's proposed wage increase, with the union demanding an 8% increase instead of the current 3.5% base increase proposed. Union President Michael Jones estimates the average teacher works between 25 and 30 hours more than their contracted work week. He's hoping to raise awareness for that in this initiative.
And we don't have enough time during the school day to do that work because, especially since we have so few workers, everyone's covering for everyone else just to make it through the day.
All of this, he says, is contributing to teacher burnout, with the district going through severe short staffing, much like many others around the nation.
Hook's Cheese Company in Mineral Point is re-releasing a limited batch of a 20-year cheddar. It's considered the rarest of the rare because it takes a special cheese to make it to 20 years of aging. It's just the third time that owner Tony Hook has released a 20-year cheddar. Because of the time and labor involved, it sells for $209 a pound. Now, if you want one, you better place an order online because they are going fast.
The rate it's going today, it'll probably be all sold out by Wednesday. So if people want it, they need to go to hookscheese.com and reserve a chunk for themselves.
$209 for that ad, Tony. Hook's Cheese is taking pre-orders on their website. We have a link to it at channel3000.com. If you place an order, your cheese will be shipped beginning next Monday. If that made you hungry, good news for you. All-you-can-eat buffets are making a comeback, Charlotte. Yes. Industry tracker Placer.ai says visits to the 3 leading chains were up 125% in March compared to January of 2021. Golden Corral sales grew 14% last year compared to pre-pandemic levels. CC's and Pizza Ranch are also thriving. The turnaround follows a number of bankruptcies when COVID-19 restrictions were in place. Don't put oil in your pockets and run for the exits because of inflation at the grocery store.
Yes, do not do that. Julian C. writes here with a look at our forecast. And please, warm up coming back?
Yes, that's right, Charlotte. So we have the gifts for everyone just before Mother's Day, and that is warmth and sunshine. But starting things off with our radar, because a little bit of rain's trying to make their way into the far northwestern corridor of Wisconsin, trying to make its way towards La Crosse over the next about couple of hours, but it's going to fizzle out. And as we get into the rest of tomorrow, a high pressure system is going to be settling in for us, which will be drying things out for the next several days. But how much rain we had gotten around Madison, we had gotten just a little bit over a half of an inch of rainfall. But you can see near the northern Illinois state line, that's where we saw much more of the rain accumulation, and also towards the northeast and just east of the Wisconsin Dells. We just saw about an inch of rainfall over the last 24 hours. So planning out tonight, temperatures will fall into the upper 40s, and on top of it, lower 50s throughout much of southern Wisconsin. Around 51 for Platteville and 48 for Janesville. Cloud cover will stick around until we get into the later overnights. It's going to start to clear up just a bit, but we're going to be seeing some fog heading into our early Tuesday morning that's going to develop from the overnight. So be prepared for a lowered visibility as we get into tomorrow. And on top of it, be prepared for 70s getting into our afternoon. A bit more sunshine in the lower 70s. We're going to be around 71 degrees is our high for us here in Madison and for Janesville and Platteville. But many of us in general are going to feel a lot better in terms of temperatures heading into our afternoon. So walking through our future track. Now let's go ahead and plan out our day. Morning time is when we're looking at the cloud cover, and on top of it, some fog throughout much of southern Wisconsin. That starts to clear up as we get into the later parts of our morning, but the clouds themselves won't really break up until we get into our early afternoon. It's going to be varying throughout the course of the day. Lower 70s by the time we get into around the 5 p.m. commute, and then heading into our Tuesday nights, staying rather quiet. Wednesday, not too much more in terms of changes, but a bit more sunshine, especially starting off Wednesday morning. Mid-50s, and then we're already into the 70s by the lunchtime hour. Getting into around 5 p.m., we're looking for those temperatures to climb a bit more into the middle and upper 70s throughout much of southern Wisconsin, knocking on the door of 80 degrees. So it is going to feel quite nice and even summer-like as we get into our Wednesday evening. Our first warn, though, here is that we're going to be looking at a bit of a wet type of weekend for us, especially for Mother's Day. Coming in from Friday, Saturday, and even into our Sunday, we're looking for widespread rain that could be putting a damper into your outdoor Mother's Day plans for this weekend. If you're going to be traveling, just be sure to pay attention to the wet conditions over the course of the weekend hours. Now, don't hold on to these rain accumulations, but what we're watching for is potentially another 3/4 of rainfall throughout much of southern Wisconsin. A couple areas, especially to the west, could see a bit more, but overall, if things hold steady as we've been predicting, well, then we're going to be starting to see another bit of rain heading into our weekend. A quick look at our 3 things we'll need to know. 70s and 80s are going to be here for the next several days. But then as we get into the weekend, it is going to change just a bit, mainly for Sunday. Upper 60s for Mother's Day and a bit on the rainy side. But as we head into the next week, we'll see those temperatures holding into the lower 70s. A bit more sunshine will stick around as well. So it's pretty smooth sailing until we get to Mother's Day.
Well, grab a friend and get ready for some exhilarating card game action. The inaugural World Euchre Championship is coming to New Glarus this Saturday. Teams of 2 will compete in an 8-round event beginning at 1 p.m. at the New Glarus Fest House. The highest scoring team will win championship belts and have their names etched in a championship plaque. It is $10 per person to reserve a spot. Players under the age of 21 will need to be accompanied by an adult. And we have a link to register on channel3000.com.
And coming up in sports, the Brewers were bombing baseballs at AmFam Field. How the long ball pushed Milwaukee past L.A. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
At Stanton Optical, independent eye doctors are available for eye exams whenever you need one. You should have seen me before I got mine. You're so quiet. Are you mad at me? Book your free same-day eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
Celebrate Memorial Day at Brothers Maine, where unbeatable appliance deals come with expert advice. Enjoy special prices and free delivery on top brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, and KitchenAid. Visit us today and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
You've got this. Whatever it is, you're ready for it. Your newly purchased defenses, top of the line. Your backup, backing up. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So if your new house still has some old tenants, we'll make sure your checking account won't be giving you any surprises. You've got this with Associated Bank.
For 46 years straight, more of you have trusted Ford F-Series trucks to help save the day. Stretch the weekend, haul, or tow. Just about anything, anywhere. That's because they're built Ford tough. And it's why Ford F-Series are America's best-selling trucks 46 years straight. And for that, we thank you. Because this isn't just about our capability, it's about yours.
You've probably heard by now, but Wanakee Remodeling has been transforming homes for the better part of half a century by installing materials that stand the test of time from a team of trusted home pros. Our design team delivers a turnkey experience for your interior or exterior remodeling project, leaving you with a home you love. At Wanakee Remodeling, we'll never stop improving. Right now, get a special window offer. Buy one window, get one 40% off plus special financing. Visit WanakeeRemodeling.com for more.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. Call today for free information.
Call 800-550-5543.
Don't miss your chance to see The Lion King, one of the most awe-inspiring productions ever brought to life on stage.
Coming to Overture Center May 11th through 28th. Tickets on sale now at overture.org.
It's easier to manage my chemo side effects since a Grace Supportive Care came to see me. They're taking the time to listen and talk about options for feeling better.
A Grace, caring every step of the way.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We did the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $400 at LensCrafters, over $200 at Walmart, and over $150 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird.
After 5 successful seasons together where they won a ton of regular season games and ended a 50-year NBA championship drought, the Milwaukee Bucks decided to part ways with Mike Budenholzer. And the former head coach posted a 3-page thank you to the organization and the city on Instagram, saying in part, to have a place in the history of the city, the history of the Bucks organization, for that I will forever be grateful. Thank you. It's time for a beer and some sun on one of the lakes. What a regular season finale it was for the Badgers softball team. Not only did they sweep the Hawkeyes, but Wisconsin did it in dominating fashion, outscoring Iowa 15-1. The 3 wins earned UW the 5th seed in this week's Big Ten tournament, and they'll face 12th-seeded and tourney host Illinois on Wednesday. And head coach Yvette Healy, there's nothing better than this time of year.
You get to go on the road, you get to play the host team, and you get to do it under the lights with all their fans, and that's what you play for. And so for our team, I love that they get that experience. I want the stands full when we're playing, so to see Illinois at home. Now, I love we'll be in their dugout. I love that we get to be the home team, you know, just that's the little sister in me that likes to, you know, poke the bear a little bit.
Brewers opening up a 3-game series with the Dodgers, and they brought their big bats to the ballpark. Joey Wiemer starts the scoring with a 3-run laser to put the Crew on top in the 5th. And that wouldn't be the last cheesehead we'd see. 7th inning, Crew up 6-1, and Willie Adames sends a 3-run bomb to right. All Brew Crew in this one, they win 9-3, the final. One of the newest Green Bay Packers has never even played a game of organized football. Kenneth Odumegwu was invited to Packers rookie minicamp through the NFL's International Player Program, and he's making his mark. OG grew up playing soccer in Nigeria, but at 6'6", 275 pounds, he quickly outgrew the sport, so he decided to pick up another kind of football, American football. And while he's still learning the game, he's excited to be a Packer.
The moment I got allocated to this team, the Green Bay Packers, yeah, I started learning more about the team, and I'm proud to be part of the team who has the most championship in the history of NFL.
It is a cool thing in terms of just for the game of football, to give somebody an opportunity from another country, I think is just a big time plus.
Badger Volleyball unveiled their non-conference schedule for the fall, and Kelly Sheffield's squad will be tested early and often before they begin league play. Wisconsin starts with the Big Ten, Big 12 Challenge with matches against Baylor and TCU. Their home opener is September 3rd against Tennessee. They'll face Marquette at Pfizer Forum and close out the non-con with a trip to Florida on September 17th. We're back after this.
Buy 4 pork chops, get 4 free. And get Hy-Vee ice cream for just $3.88. That's buy 4, get 4 free on America's Cut pork chops. And a 1-gallon pail of Hy-Vee ice cream, just $3.88. Tuesday only at Hy-Vee.
Planning a remodel? Don't toss your cabinets, furniture, and appliances. Donate to Habitat Restore. Your items stay out of landfills while proceeds create housing solutions for hardworking families. Build a stronger community with Habitat Restore of Dane County.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Spring into action and save on stressless seating at the Century House. Now get $400 off all classic power recliners, signature-based recliners and ottomans, and cross-base recliners and ottomans. And get $400 off most sofas and love seats. Imagine how much you can save building your dream sectional. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
Get 4 Arby's classic roast beef sandwiches for just $10. That's 1 for now, 1 after that, 1 to celebrate the first 2, and 1 more because that's how many 4 is. Arby's, we have the meat.
Low E, also known as low energy, is wreaking havoc on millions.
I can't even pull out the hose.
Thankfully, there's Planet Fitness. Now through May 10th, join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. It's how you turn your low E into big fitness energy. Our clean and spacious, judgment-free zone has equipment for every workout to keep you energized all day. Simply join through the free PF app for $1 down, $10 a month. No commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, May 10th.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife, Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Transform your yard into something you can be proud of. From initial design to complete finished installation, Maple Leaf will design a yard that'll be the envy of the neighborhood. Maple Leaf Landscaping, your year-round property care specialists. Just look for the orange leaf.
Buy 4 pork chops, get 4 free. And get Hy-Vee ice cream for just $3.88. That's buy 4, get 4 free on America's Cut pork chops. And a 1-gallon pail of Hy-Vee ice cream, just $3.88. Tuesday only at Hy-Vee.
Channel 3000 Plus. Watch from your streaming media player or mobile device.
Finally tonight, looking to make $1,000. Here's an unusual job. Simply binge the Fast and Furious films over a 2-week period. Finance Buzz, that's an internet informational site that offers money-related tips and recommendations, is looking for a Fast and Furious claims adjuster. Now, that person would watch all of the movies, including Fast 10, which debuts May 19th, and then note the damages from every car crash on screen. That's a Fast and Furious claims adjuster, folks. Finance Buzz intends to use these findings to estimate the insurance impact of the global billion-dollar franchise's reckless driving. Applications are open on the company's website through May 19th. The winner will be announced by May 26th. There you go. If you ever want to get into insurance, watch movies. $1,000. That's a lot of movies. You
can do a lot with that.
With all the movies. That's like $6 or $8. That's like $15 an hour. With all those hours of movies. Julian, final check of the forecast.
At least it's going to feel like somewhat summer. We're going to be seeing 80s by the time we get to Thursday. And then for the weekend, folks, be prepared for a wet Mother's Day.
Julian, thanks. Thanks for joining us, folks.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.